It was smoke everywhere when we left the house. And like I said, the embers was flying, and we were just one of the, I believe, God help us through it, because they could have shoot at us or whatever, but we could actually see them, because the wind was just amazingly just unbearable. But the only thing came to me was my mom and dad walking to that step with us, with the three of us, opening their door and seeing the first home. They never own a home, from Haiti until here, just renting.
Yeah, and I'm over the phone just like I can't do anything.
Yeah.
I'm like completely helpless because I was already tending to my cousins and my aunt that was there at the house, and it was just so hard to be completely like constrained to where I was at and not there, like to be able to literally comfort my mom, and I had to find ways to calm her down over the phone because just going, respectfully, understandably, just going completely just frantic because of just not really realizing that it was just, this is happening. It's just unbelievable. I always was I was telling my friends, like, I thought we were exempt up here in Altadena because all the things we heard about the Katrina happening and we heard about Hawaii happening, all these things that were happening were so catastrophic, and we just never thought our little community here would be in the same shambles and stuff. So really hard to take in. That's how we felt in those moments. Yeah, very, very numb and just hurtful. It's about like 10 plus of us, about 10 or 12, and out of those 4 homes, it fluctuated. Like this home that we're at right now had about 5 people. Another home had 2, another home had 3, another home had like 4 to 5. So it really, this fluctuates between those numbers. And so all of together, it's like past 10 people that were impacted in our family, from our Haitian side with my mom to my dad's side, who all are African American as well. That's how many people were impacted, about over 10 people. And we were about, 2 to 3 minute drives between each other. Very close. You could think of it as like a rectangle.
Yeah.
20-minute walking distance.
We're originally from Haiti, a little town, Leogane, which is approximately an hour and a half from Port-au-Prince, the capital. I was staying. My mom and dad came out first, and I stayed with my grandma in Haiti. Went to school with my auntie there too, and so they sent for me when I was 13, and so they were here first, and they were living in a little duplex when I came out here in '75. And so they wanted to have a dream, like we come out here to have a big dream. And so my dad, at the time, my mom and my dad was working at a convalescent home. And I remember I didn't have any English. I didn't speak it at all. And I would have to get up by myself to walk to the bus because my mom and dad had to be at work at 6 o'clock in the morning. So I was left alone to walk down the street to get on the bus. And that's another story in itself. It wasn't a pleasant one, but I survived it. But I just remember they wanted to, get this home. My dad knew this family when he was in Florida. And so when he came out, he was able to help them looking for houses, and that's how we ended up landing in this home here. In 1977, actually, 2 years after I came. And I remember going to school down the street, John Muir High School. And growing up in here, in this beautiful town, Altadena. We've been here for about 47, 48 years, nearly 50 years. It was a home, away from home. And I know in Haiti, we didn't have that, access to have this nice place. I was with my aunt or my grandma. But when my dad was able to come out, it just made it seem, hope. We had hope. And so went to school, high school, to here. All my life basically was in this home. Got to see a lot. We did a lot of from school to getting married, my kids. Everything just happened here at this house. But my sister, born here, and then watching her with her kids born, you know what I mean? So it's just a moment when you reflect on it. My brother who lived nearby, You know, we always come together here. We do our parties. I'm a missionary from my home, so I go back and forth to Haiti since the earthquake. So when we do donation pull out, we had a huge storage full of donation stuff that people was coming to donate. We packed everything on the driveway. My kids come. We have supporters. So it just reflects on everything that happened at this house. It's a legacy that we can't just throw away, and it's a book that one day I feel like I want to write a book about our lives, you know. And so this is today for us in January 2025, and it felt like this is the end. We would never expect this end to end like this, you know. And it's a home that's gonna always we're gonna always treasure. And so when our, daughter Angelique, she's one of the beneficiaries that say, "Mommy, we're not gonna give that home away. We're gonna rebuild it, and we're gonna keep it for our family." And we all agreed, birthdays, celebration, when my nephew graduation, Haitian meal. I mean, everything. We just have a really deep root in this home. So that's what the part that touches my heart.
Yeah, some of the Haitian traditions that I experienced growing up was just feeling like I was living in Haiti when I came here. I felt like I don't feel like I missed a beat until I actually went to Haiti for the first time and was like, "Oh, well, this is really how Haitians live and the traditions and stuff like that." But the what I got introduced to was the way that my grandma had a chicken coop in the back, and she naturally made all of her stuff. It was nothing was You've hardly ever, tasted anything that was like artificial or like that wasn't from the actual root of anything she made. The chickens were made here. All the meat that we had here was the eggs were here. She had that here. I remember she had a ducks at one point. Oh my goodness, it was like all these things, and at those times I found it very a little bit interesting because I didn't have any other friends that had chicken coops in their backyard or an avocado tree that to this day I'm like so sad to see burnt up in this state. But it was such a rich part of the home that I didn't really get to really cherish it till I got older. The avocado tree, knowing how expensive avocados are and stuff, all that stuff I felt very grateful to have because we were eating clean. We were eating healthy. Those were things that I took for granted growing up because you're as a child you're like, oh, we're eating, we're having food. But I would always remember the smell of when she made fish. Oh my goodness, and she would just literally bask it in just this homemade sauce that she'll make. And it had a lot of bones in it, so I always have to like fight my mouth with like taking the bones out. But it was so delicious that I would go through that struggle. And one of my favorite dishes she introduced me to was la bouillie banan, which was almost like a hot cereal that is compared to like oatmeal and like cream of wheat and stuff like that, but it was just made from plantains. And so I was like, and I just love that meal to this day. And my mom has adopted a version of how to make it, and it tastes very similar to my grandmother's. A lot of things that my mom picked up on, she learned from her mom. And so I'm just so blessed to be able to still have my mom down to the culture of the language, speaking Creole, still around to still do that and teach us the recipes and the good Haitian cuisines. That the sujumu that's every New Year's, that's such a tradition that she makes and stuff. So food is always a staple when I think about memories here in this home. Food, the language, just the way we gathered for events. As my mom mentioned, we will have birthday parties here, and I'm always the MC putting together karaoke nights and games and stuff because this was literally what this house was made for. It was made to become a home for all of us and those who needed it. That my family is very open to bringing in what people call strangers, but they weren't necessarily like the disturbing strangers. They'll just be people in need of community and family. And so I learned a lot of that by watching and witnessing my own family take people in and help them. And I feel like that's where I gained a lot of my features and qualities of. Is like when I get back to my community, I think of my mom and how she does it for her own community in Haiti, and for how much she loves working with kids. And so a lot of us picked up on that and are able to give back. For me, helping is healing. And I feel like that was just something that was instilled in us as a child. Growing up in this house, I don't know a lot of other Haitians that grew up in Altadena. If they're out there, hello. But we never really had anyone but us. And then I would grow and find other friends like in LA or Hollywood that would also say, well, I'm Haitian too. And I would tell them like, well, come over. And I'll tell my mom, like, I'm going to bring over some friends who are Haitian and who've lost like that Haitian cuisine or like that language because they're transplants in a sense here. And so we are always welcoming to have folks here that are from our community to let them know that we are here for you too. Whether it's just cooking them a meal, having a Creole conversation, or anything like that. Like we're always open to having that. And that's one thing that I'm going to continue to have as I keep the legacy of the Mauvais name going, and the McGrew name, is just being that sense of home for someone who needs it, especially those who are from our Haitian communities or Caribbean communities at that.
Back in 2010, we had a massive earthquake in Haiti, which kills millions, really. They never really can count because they couldn't get to the core of all these people that passed. So, and at that time, my church, had sponsored me to take that trip in 2010, in June of 2010. And it was an organization called YWAM, Youth with a Mission. So they coordinate with them, and so I was one of the ones they selected to go with, along with another colleague of mine. And so we went, and I got there. I just felt so led to do something for my country. I haven't been back ever since I got here when I was 13. And so that was my first actually the second time, because my grandmother had passed away, and I did gone out for the funeral. But when I went back in 2010, it was very devastating. And so when I came back here, I just, prayed and said, Lord, I want to help, but I don't have money, but I have my heart. So help me. And so he opened doors. He started opening doors for me to travel, to have a organization, Child of Haiti. And so I've been traveling back ever since, twice a year, sometimes 3 times a year. My son went with me. I took a lot of missionaries back and forth and they shadow me to see how I'm helping different communities, especially the orphans, because that's where my heart is, for the orphans. And so I was able to adopt 3 of the orphanage where I go back and forth and help. I have a lot of supporters. I was donating so much, anything that I basically need to travel, and I was able to connect with a Haitian that has packages. Yeah.
Okay.
And so I would go there, take things to him in LA, or he'll come out and pick up the stuff for me. And when I get to Haiti, everything is there for me to go.
All the donations. And packages and all the things that were donated.
I've been doing that since 2010 until 2019, when our government starts shutting down. Yeah. The president got assassinated, and it was just bare minimum. And people was just gone, and children especially. It was very sad because I couldn't go back. Yep. The kidnapping was very, highly, they would just not recommend me to go there. And so I just prayed. I said, Lord, here I am. And I know every time I go, you always make a way for us. Yep. Never had any problem. Yep. I go do what I'm to do, and I always go. And so after 2019, I just took a pause, and I felt like God was saying, you're going back. You got to finish what you started. The work is not over yet. And
my mom is still, even through this tragedy right now, she's still sending help to them. Even, it's so commendable. It's I remember her telling me on the phone, I have to make sure I go to Western Union and send money. And I'm like, oh, wow, okay. And I'm like, just another example of where I feel like I got my quality from, of no matter how much we're in trouble, it's we always find a way and help out others, because we're not the only ones in trouble, And so I just, from that alone, I've even had to talk her off the cliff of like still going to Haiti and helping. It was like and being like, Mom, you're not you have to be safe too, But sometimes, her passion becomes so more of the focus than her safety that, I it's still commendable because she'll still put herself at risk, and I really realizing that she is, to still help out another, because she's just that passionate about just helping out Haiti and her community, because that's essentially where she grew up. That is her homeland, and by way of like our homeland and stuff. So very touching and inspiring, honestly.
It was a really nice um, storage, we put. And so whenever I get, I might calling, Carlene, what do you need? When are you leaving? So I always, send an update, let them know this is where I'm going and this is what I'm going to need. And so I'm in touch with organization like soccer was the biggest thing, because the kids love to play soccer. And when I go there and I'm seeing them, playing soccer with their just nothing on their feet, they use the socks to make soccer ball out of it, things like that. And so I'm like, wait. So I came back, and every time I come, I'm always going back and see, okay, this is next time I'm going to bring, And a child, that was very touchy for me. He wanted to learn how to play guitar. He didn't have one. So I went to the orphanage. He made one out of a bottle. He opened the bottles, he finds some string, and he made his guitar in a little a piece of wood. And so I said, I promise you, when I get back, I'm going to find you a guitar. And I did. And so I came back, I took the guitar to him. And so everything all the donation that I've got, this is the post that we have here in our home to get everything there, from clothes to food to soccer gear to whatever it is that they need, was in that home. And so when it burnt down, it's like a part of me, because they're not going to be able to get it. And it has to be start square one. And so that's where I'm at with it right now.
Yeah, and a lot of our personal stuff was
Personal
in there,
stuff,
stuff too. Our birth certificates, our social security, our old photos, wedding photos
my
from
gosh.
back in the day. Like a lot of stuff,
A lot of memories.
a lot of
is back
memories was back there, and confidential stuff was back there that we lost. So it's not even going to be some time. I know there's been some times where we just think to ourselves like, oh my gosh, that's gone too. Like it's like you don't really think about it until you need it,
Yeah.
or it hits you, and it's like, oh wow, that's gone.
Yeah.
You know,
A
so
lot of it.
yeah.